All systems go. Clear for liftoff. What's up, everyone? Tyler Tamboline here, a.k.a. ToeTagginTambo, back for another edition of the Sunday NFL Main Slate Show here on the Mayo Media Network. If you're just joining us, first time or regular on the way in, do us that favor. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. We'll bring up our YouTube station in a second. Big talks today around the giveaways. We said Santa Claus is coming to town. We got our guy. We got some giveaways here with Hoop. Title as with me as always, our guy DFS Juice, member from the community, giving away a 6-month membership no matter what. So somebody's going to win a $359 6-month membership at the end of the show. If we get to 5,000 subscribers on this channel, and we will refresh throughout, we'll give away an annual. If not, we'll carry it over to the final Thursday Night Football show of the season and last of the year on the 28th. This week coming up on this channel as well. We've got 2 $100 giveaways for members and 2 random 1-month giveaways that we'll give away to somebody in the chat. So start throwing it in there now. Why you want that membership, what it means to you. Hoop, bring you in, talk to you first. The Gabe Davis call. Nobody turns dust to money like you. It's absolutely insane. The guy broke the slate last night, just destroyed. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Yeah, and it was, these calls have just been on fire all season long, and it was cool to see. Obviously, Gabe Davis get there. I didn't fully capitalize on it, but I know a lot of our members did. A lot of people watching the show yesterday were able to take advantage of it, I'm a pretty humble dude, but the calls have been freaking spot on this season. Just the random things like the Najee Harris call, early on in the season.
Dak Parham, Najee Harris, Gabe Davis, anyone that people say sucks, and you also say kind of suck. But anytime that happens, mark it down, get your bets in, get your lineup set. It's been on fire.
Yeah, and it just seemed like the spot yesterday. He had goose eggs in 3 out of 4. He's known as a blocker. He takes pride in that, and he accepts that role, but they're going to feed him every now and again. And when they feed him, it's usually in a big way. And that's what we saw yesterday. He got fed, and a lot of our members got fed some dollars into their bank account. So it was a solid day all around. And looking forward to the slate. I mean, it's an ugly one when you just look at the teams and the plays and all that. But, I dug in pretty late last night, and I like what I'm seeing so far.
Yeah, this is actually a really good slate. I'm interested to get Title's take here in a second. Before I bring Title in, do want to say happy holidays to everybody out there, whatever you're celebrating. On behalf of everyone here at SHIPIT Nation, it's been an incredible journey starting this company, getting things off the ground. 7 months in, we're coming up to the end of the season here for the year, end of the season for football, but there's still a lot of football slates ahead. We got NBA going full-time, PGA's coming back soon, NHL, MMA's year-round. It's off a little bit right now, but all the time, and then MLB will be here before we know it. Maybe some new stuff in the new year as well. Spoiler alert, there's some good stuff coming to the nation. So appreciate everybody out there. Wish you and your families, friends, happiness, the best of holidays to you. Title, bring you in, man. What's going on with you this fine free money Sunday, my friend? What's happening?
Oh, yeah. Echo everything you just said. But, yeah, come on, man. Free money Sunday. No better day out there. Christmas Eve. Good time as well. But, hey, got to make some money. Got to pay for those gifts somehow. Huge day. Then you get tomorrow. NFL run right back. NBA run right back. No better time of the year. But, yeah, echo like you just said. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate. Be safe. Enjoy it out there, and let's make some money today.
Yeah, let's pull it up here quick. So this is the live look, guys. If you go over to our SHIPIT Nation YouTube station, just type it in, youtube.com/@SHIPITNation, or you can just go in on another browser, tab, whatever it might be, and just go to SHIPIT Nation. We are, I believe, 39, when I looked at it, away was the exact number that we're away from subscribers. We'll refresh this throughout and come back to it to check it out. If we get to the 5,000, we will add on a full 1-year membership to the end. So already giving away 2 monthly memberships throughout this show. Those will be given out between now and the end. We're giving away 1 6-month no matter what, thanks to our community member, DFS Juice. He's won 125 or 130K plus since joining the nation. So good for him. Awesome that he's giving back. And then this is the annual that we will be giving away once we get to 5,000 subscribers over there. You want to check it out, just go to shipitnation.com. You guys can hop in now, You can use the weekly. You don't get the Discord. It's $24, but the best way to get in is any of the monthly plans. You can use the code MAYO to get 10% off. So check that out. Hoop, I'll kick it back to you. Let's get into it. Let's do our grand scheme overview for the slate. Also, shout out to our guy, Tariq. We had the giveaway last night. We just had some fun. Whoever had the Gabe Davis closest yards without going over, if you hit it on the head, awesome. But he was 2 yards off, but the closest without going over, sent him that $100 last night. Just some of the other fun stuff we do within our Discord. Hoop, kick it over to you, ma'am. 9 games here to talk about how you see in the slate.
Yeah, it's a pretty dynamic slate because, I think there's one spot that a lot of people are looking to go at the quarterback position, and then everything else is pretty spread out, I'd say, for the most part, which is what we typically get. The Justin Fields stuff is interesting. Clearly has the highest upside on the slate. It's a good spot at home against Arizona, who, they're playing for nothing. Their defense is pretty crappy. But outside of that, you can go basically anywhere else and, find a way to immediately be different with your teams. That's one thing that stands out. I think, very curious to get your guys' take on this Miami Dallas game. Highest total on the slate, but literally no ownership at all. I talked a little bit before the show. It is hard to get there though, because you play that game, you want you want CeeDee Lamb, you want Tyreek Hill. Waddle is pretty expensive. The running backs are up there as well. So that's, I think, an interesting talking point on the slate. So yeah, it's a wide open slate. There's a few games that I'm going to be looking to target today. Hopefully they go off and we get to that winner's circle.
Yeah, I'm going to get titles taken a second. A lot of men, this is the tough thing about DFS. I always say, that's my best thing, having my wife support. This is a tough scene, right? It's hard this time of year, especially. Lots of stuff going on. Says get the wife on the right side there. I saw it up here earlier. Who else said it? It was an awesome comment, just pretty funny at least.
The dude that's in the basement watching because the wife's pissed off.
Go?
Yeah, I saw that was a good one. Here it is. I got it.
Yeah, huge fight with the wife this morning. Too much of her family around for Christmas. We'll be watching the slate from the basement. Let's ship it. Yeah, love to see that. This is, not the fighting part, but just it is part of it, right? You gotta have that support system in place to do what we do. Lots of good stuff though, and that's part of joining the community and being part of other people that are going through the same stuff. That's why I brought that up. We're all dealing with it in some way, shape, or form. Go Collect did mention too, good guy, awesome supporter, always going heavy. Big best ball sweat right now for him as well. But he says one of the monthly, I forgot this. Yeah, last night, one of the monthly members won the monthly membership on this show and then shipped second place on the Showdown slate last night for $15K off of $50. So absolutely love to see that. And then our guy Rob comes through and says, had to move lunch with the girlfriend's grandma to make sure I can lock this stuff in today. So he's in a good place, though. He's bringing those wins home to mama. And so things are
bring the wins, and don't forget to bring that wheelchair either. You don't want to be like our dude from a couple months ago, wheelchairless grandma.
Yeah. Title, I'll get your takes on this slate, man. The 9 games here, Hoop mentioned it. The one that's, funny enough, kind of being left alone is the highest total on the slate, but it does look similar to the spots we've seen these other times where it's like Buffalo, Dallas, or whatever it was, Philly and Kansas City. It's just really tough to get behind some of those games when you got those expensive pieces. How are you seeing this slate? What's your first thoughts on the 9 games that we have at hand?
Yeah, first I did want to shout out 8X Terrell was the guy. He did $3 20 entry max, $60 in a 15K, 0.1 away from first, but definitely cannot complain about that. And also the guy watching on the couch, watching the slate downstairs, hey, I would trade with you. Watch football, all that stuff all day as well. So that could be worse, but
that doesn't sound like a bad day, to be honest.
No, sounds like a great day for sure. Watching football makes some money, but as far as this slate, yeah, I think Hoop covered it pretty well. So the one game that stands out, Cowboys Miami. We talked a little pre-show, like we said, it was the Philly Buffalo game like a month ago that had the one lone total above 50. All the other games were tough, but because of the pricing, it makes it really tough to get to. I'm not, as of right now, going to have too much exposure to the game either, which is pretty scary. But you can go to this Lions-Minnesota game in a dome, very cheap across the board, and a lot of other spots, some solid weather out there, at least in December. Like I'd expect weather to be worse than it really is. Talking spend-ups, I think kind of concentrated, like Tyreek's way up there. He's not going to get much ownership. CD's way up there. Then you get like Justin Jefferson is in his own tier that I think is going to get a good amount of ownership. Running back stands out to me. There's a handful of really strong plays that I think kind of eat into each other's ownership outside of like 6 guys, 7 guys maybe. I think you'll get a lot of people very low owned. One piece of news, big piece of news we're waiting on, Jaden Reed for the Packers. Definitely monitor that. Dontavian Wicks is already a solid play. Malik Heath would come in, step into the number 2 role. Very cheap on both sides. He'd get a big little bump to Tucker Kraft. Aaron Jones as well. So that's the big piece of news we're waiting on. Other than that, I think we're good to go, and I'm excited for this slate.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. I think it's a really good tournament slate. And Jerry Matt reminds us of another one, Hoop. Don't forget the Hunter Henry call that week, too. Just went off for you as well.
That was last week, wasn't it? That was last week, too.
Yeah.
I'll find us a little stocking stuffer today, a little stocking stuffer special from Santa Hoop that's going to go off the wall call. We'll have one by the end of the show.
And Gary's writing novels, so it even covers titles face right off. But I got to go to this one. Definitely awesome to hear. That's what we're all about. We talk about it. Less small talk, more slate talk. Says checking out some of the other shows prior to you going live. No comparison. This is the best show. Great content, actual game talk. No BS that is not related to DFS. No BS, not related to DFS.
Gosh, don't. Yeah, I love the comment, but you cannot. Wait, was that part of the comment, or did you?
That was part of the comment.
Yeah, don't you, man, Gary, you're our boy, but man, you cannot be serving up Tambo things like that 10 minutes into the show. It's
we're getting extra excited over here, guys. Now, I will say I do think it is a pretty good tournament slate. I looked at it across the board between building lineups with Mayo on the show, between our guy Hamwich writing up the FanDuel slate plan, seeing your guys' stuff, and checking out all the content on the site, the comments in the Discord. I feel like 15 of the 18 quarterbacks could be in play, however you want to go about your builds. In the end, you got to kind of bring it down there some and separate that, but you got to make sure you got a bit of a tighter pool when you get to whatever the format that you're playing. For me, something like the $20 Millie Maker, I don't mind spreading it out a little bit more, going off the board some. For some of my main lineups, it's going to be what you see in the upper tier of my slate plan, like those top 3 quarterbacks there. So let's dive into this first game, Hoop. People want to know, remember just like 2 weeks ago, everyone wacko for Flacco. I'm going to go to Cleveland at Houston, 40-point total, tight spread. Houston, at least a good place to play. It's not in Cleveland. But are you still are you interested in this Flacco stuff? Do you want to keep going to Njoku here after 2 big games? Hoop, I'll go to you. Cleveland at Houston. What are we doing in this one?
I mean, the Flacco stuff doesn't interest me. Like, I haven't played it yet. And, I think it's one of those situations where if you've been playing it, yeah, sure, stick with it. If you haven't, you probably just stay away from it. I haven't been on it, so I'll just be staying away from it. I don't mind some of his pieces, though. I don't mind getting some Elijah Moore, 4,200, falling off a little bit in terms of the targets. He was getting an insane amount. Last week only got 3. I'd be fine going back to him. Njoku, I think, is definitely a fine tight end play. The guy's nuked basically 2 slates in a row. I'm good with that in a dome. Maybe a little Amari Cooper, maybe some Jerome Ford. Like, these are not guys that are going to be like big time plays for me today, but guys that will probably be in the player pool in some capacity. On the Texans side, pretty difficult with Keenum back there at quarterback. The only play for me is going to be Devin Singletary, who got 26 touches last game. The downside is obviously the fact that this is a difficult matchup. Brown's defense is very solid, but a running back at 5,500 that has the potential for 25 to 30 touches, that's going to interest me quite a bit. So there are plays in this game. This isn't one of my favorites. These are all guys that I'll have decent ownership, but nothing like crazy on any of these guys today.
Yeah, Title, I'll kick it over to you. This was one that was tougher for me. I have some of these builds because Mayo basically forced me into them, but I wasn't as excited to go back to it. I like the way Hoop said it. He says it about guys like Taysom Hill. He says about other spots, and he means it. It's like, if you've been there, then I get it. But if you haven't been, it's kind of tough jumping in when all the stuff already happens. But there is some pieces within this game. What's your thoughts on this spot? Anybody that you like that stands out, and any other places that you could go within it that others aren't?
This is one of my least favorite games on the slate. I hate the Texans side. If I played anyone, it'd be Singletary. He's definitely taking over the role, getting all the touches, but it's a brutal matchup with Case Keenum as the backup, or Case Keenum as the guy, so they're going to probably stack the box. Tough to get there, but I get it with the opportunity. And on the other side, it's really only Njoku and Elijah Moore. You can definitely play Njoku. Price is coming up a little bit. Again, still definitely fair. Someone asking you play 2 tight ends, most definitely. But when I'm getting in that little 5K range, I want Mr. Trey McBride. So not much there. Elijah Moore, I think it's an interesting pivot from like the Dontavian Wicks, who's going to be really popular in that range as well. Flacco definitely has been good. I mean, I was shitting on them a bit a couple weeks ago, and hey, chat was all over it. They got that one right for sure. But no, it's probably one of my least favorite games on the slate. Not much for me.
Said fade the Grandpa Bowl.
I agree.
What were they talking about this week? Is like, who's the coach for Houston again? Used to play, right? What's his name?
D'Amico Ryans.
Yes, and like he's played games against Flacco, and now Flacco's the quarterback on the opposite side of him coaching. But man, realistically, the elite stuff and Flacco, I mean, it's been solid. You can make fun of it all you want, but it's just not as much for me. I was going to ask you, Title. This one kind of looked popular at the start of the week, and obviously now it's fell off a cliff. But did you have any thoughts on the Singletary stuff? 5,500, obviously getting a lot of work there. Even people mentioned Houston defense in this one. I know usually you'd be on the Cleveland side, but the Houston D got brought up too. I kind of like the Browns D for 3,400, but go ahead on Singletary quick.
Yeah. I mean, he's getting literally all the work. It's the matchup that's the only thing kind of holding me back. But at the end of the day, bell cow running backs, we actually have more of them now than we did in the beginning of the year for sure with injuries and stuff. But you're getting 25 touches, like 3 straight games. I mean, it's hard to say no to that. It's just there's a lot of mispriced running backs in that range and a lot better matchups with a little more reception upside, I think, too. I think it is Singletary's fine. Like someone mentioned, Jerome Ford, Kareem Hunt's getting more work than I'd like to roll a Ford on a slate like this. I think Singletary's fine, but I would prefer others in the range, so I don't see myself getting much.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same way there, and it's there's a couple spots like at the start of the week, at least a little bit. Singletary was getting a little love. Guys like Pollard were getting love, and they're just not gonna be there anymore. We know where this ownership is gonna be there today. We'll talk about it when we get to those spots, but I think here Njoku, and then one interesting last piece, I guess, is true. Like Jay says, you could see McBride and Njoku be a very popular combo. People love the 2 tight end setup when you got a guy like Njoku being used like a wide receiver. 1 in some teams, 2 kind of because you got Cooper here, obviously, to deal with. It's not the same, but still at 5,300, you could definitely see him priced up. He did make the tidbits this week over on X, and it was basically saying he's priced like a wide receiver 25 or something, but he's been like a wide receiver 12 on the last few weeks. So it's one of those things where you could take it from that perspective. We do it in other sports as well. If you can see someone getting to a higher price, you hop in now. But that would be my take there. I do kind of like that Browns D though.
Yeah, I was just going to say, because there's a question about like tight end in general or tight end in the flex. It's a strong tight end day. I mean, it's a very strong tight end day in terms of guys that could, potentially go off. So I'm open to tight end and flex today, and I actually kind of like it quite a bit.
Yeah, and it works. It doesn't just have to be that combo either. I think that's where people go like, those are the 2 that make the most sense from everything we just talked about. McBride will be an obvious case when we get there later, but I definitely think there's other options that you can go with as well. Shout out to our guy Andrew here. Bears logo. We'll be going there soon, but look at this one. It says subbed at SHIPIT for a month after getting fed up with the current site. Who knows what site he was running with, but Showdown paid for my month last night, hoping the main will help me get to an annual sub. I do like that call. Good luck to you as well, Andrew. When you get the big hit, go and upgrade it so that you lock it in. Obviously, like we said, we can't spoil it all, but there's going to be a lot more. From the very beginning, Hoop has said the same quote. We're going to continue to improve and add on. Take it for what it's worth, but I can tell you the new year is going to be exciting over at SHIPIT Nation, so the time to get in is now. Let's go to this next one here, Title, and I'm going to go to you first. Any love for Jordan? Jordan Love. We got the Carolina Panthers at home, so it's Green Bay, Carolina. Low game total, but maybe some pieces within this game that you can go to, and I think there's some love for at least a few players in this spot. What say you?
Yeah, as far as the Jordan Love, not as much, but I do have a lot of interest in the weapons. So maybe this is where Hoop comes and talks me into it. If you like the weapons and all that, why not play the quarterback? I don't love it right now, but yeah, so Jaden Reed obviously is huge news on this slate. Dotavian Wicks is going to be a great play regardless. I see a Q tag. He's going to be fine. He's going to play. Was battling through a toe injury. 4,300. Even if Reed plays, he's the number 2. Coming off a great game last week, especially a great second half, will be one of the more popular plays on the slate. If Jaden Reed's ruled out, Malik Heath, 3,200 on DK, 4,400 on FanDuel. Romeo Doubs is there too. They run a lot of 3 receiver sets, so I should say Doubs might be the number 1, Wicks might be the number 2. But my interest, because of the pricing, I'd have the second most interest in Malik Heath over Romeo Doubs. I think Doubs is fine. But again, at 5,300, I'd prefer to take the savings with Wicks, with Heath, monitor Jayden Reed news. It's absolutely huge on this slate. I also think it gives a good enough bump to Tucker Kraft and Aaron Jones, who probably get overlooked a little bit. We're talking about this tight end position. They're still without Musgrave. A.J. Dillon is also important news on this slate. If Aaron Jones is out, you can correct me if I'm wrong. He's still questionable with Jayden Reed, correct, Tambo?
There's a positive comment. They said that he looks good and stuff. I think the expectation at this point is that Dillon plays.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's a thumb. He had surgery 2 weeks ago. I still like Aaron Jones. I would have liked him more if A.J. Dillon was out, but he's going to be forgotten at 6,400 with people going Chandler, Brees, all of that. I think he's an interesting, we're talking 6-7 running backs that get all the work. I think he is one that I'm going to get to that somewhere around the 10% range that has 2 touchdown upside to break the slate. I like Tucker Kraft a lot at a loaded tight end position, still without Musgrave, would only get another boost if Jayden Reed is out. So yeah, I like a lot of these Packers for sure. Monitor Jayden Reed news. Wicks will be very popular. Kraft, Aaron Jones, Malik Heath, they might not be. Maybe Heath will get some if Reed's out. I like all of them though. Little tougher for me to get to love. I'll have you guys touch on that. On the Panthers side, there's really 2 guys, Chuba Hubbard and Jonathan Mingo. Hubbard's getting all the work, 25 touches, 20 plus touches in like 3 straight games. We're talking bell cow running backs. Touches are key. So I do like Hubbard a lot. Packers can get gashed on the ground as well. Then Jonathan Mingo, 3.6K as a salary relief. I mean, man, Thielen, as the years went on, his legs have fallen off. Mingo looks to be the guy there for Bryce Young. So, yeah, this game, it's a gross, not a high total, 2 kind of gross teams, but because of the pricing, it makes a lot work. But Jayden Reed news is very, very key on the slate. Because if he plays, I mean, I have interest in him too.
Yeah, just going to say quick, too, that's the other thing. Again, people always look at this 37.5 total, get away, ugly game, Bryce Young, Jordan Love, whatever. But when the most expensive guy you could possibly use in this game is Jordan Love, there's lots of other ways to make it work. You don't even have to stack them. You can do secondary stacks. Like imagine a Wicks Mingo secondary stack. It costs you nothing for that. It's $7,900 to stack both of them together, and they could each catch up on 6-7 targets and get you there. So like little things like that you can look at and do differently. Shout out to our guy, Hofbrow. I saw you up there last night in the big one. I think it ended up being like second place chop, but congrats on that. Says to Mario there, who are the Sharks? But he's won himself. And he said, fellas, have a Merry Christmas fireball shot. And I'm fading Ty Chandler today. So good news from him.
He throws his fireball shots down like water. I can attest to that. So yeah, have an extra one for me today, man.
Yeah, exactly. For sure. So I got it there. I got you, man. So Hoop, I'll kick it over to you on this one. I know you had some interest in a few spots within this game. I saw Chuba Hubbard is the big talk in the chat right now. Our guy Ham, I will say there's been a lot of Ham on Hoop Violence, so I'll give you a chance to spike one back on him. He says that the Thielen play is the big leverage here today. You go Thielen. He likes Hubbard too, but Thielen in this spot, you could use him at wide receiver as opposed to people using Hubbard more so at the running back position, of course, and do it that way. What's your thoughts on that one first?
Yeah, not a ton of interest in Thielen. I mean, there's just other guys, at that price point that I'll be targeting. Don't mind the Mingo call. I think he's fine. Chuba Hubbard. There's not a ton of running backs on the slate, but the ones that are in play are getting a lot of work, which we kind of talked about, more kind of workhorse, bell cow running backs at this point in the season than early on. And Hubbard is one of them. 25, 23, 22 carries in the last 3 games. Like they're only 3.5 point underdogs. Definitely interested in him. My interest level on the Panthers is just going to be Hubbard and Mingo. Not really getting to anything else on the Packers side. Yeah, Jayden Reed's kind of like the only piece of news that we're really waiting on, and there really hasn't been anything about it. But he hasn't practiced like all week. The assumption is that he's out. If he's in, you have to imagine he's good to go, and he would be their number one weapon. And I'd immediately have interest, and I'd honestly probably have more interest in Jordan Love if Reed were to be in. Like with Reed out, I probably don't get to Love. I think it's kind of thin in terms of the weapons. But if Reed is in and he has his full complement of guys here, Dubs, Reed, Wicks, Tucker Kraft, I might play a little bit of Jordan Love. But if Reed's out, I'm not going to be on Love. Wicks, phenomenal play. Dubs kind of, getting a little overlooked. Like I kind of surprised it's not closer between Wicks and Dubs. So I'll make sure to get some of him at 5,300. Heath at 32 would be a good play. And then Tucker Kraft 37. I'm under the assumption Reed's out. Like the industry is under the assumption that Reed's out. So, Wicks, Kraft, Dubs, all really good plays. Sounds like A.J. Dillon is in. I don't think it's been official, but it sounds like he's in. So this is the one spot where, we kind of do need the news, but it seems pretty clear which way the news is going to fall. So, kind of where I'm at with this one.
Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on this one, but will say a couple of things. One is definitely a lot of different ways you can go about it. If Reed is out, I think even firing up the Carolina defense with Hubbard is a different way where most are using Hubbard with Wicks, right? That's a good secondary stack. I've got those, but you can flip it a little bit there. You could set it up that way. The other thing you could flip is you can go Jones, forget Dillon. Like even he's playing, but we say this all the time. What do we say? Dillon is cheeks. We talk about it 24/7. You got Jones and you could put a Mingo play in there, and you've got the same secondary stack within the same game to use the pieces that way. It's not like Carolina's a great defense against the run, so you could set it up that way as well. Again, Green Bay is favored on the road going in here, so as they should be, I think. So there's lots of different ways that you could use it, but I think that it is one of those games where it feels like at least a piece or two could be useful. If you don't get there, don't feel bad, but like the other one, you wouldn't dunk on Ham, but the Thielen spot could be a thing too. He's finally back down below 6K, 5,900, and it's not really working. It's not luring.
Well, it does kind of make sense. I mean, Ham's the oldest guy on our staff. Adam Thielen is reaching, the end of his career. So, it does add up a little bit.
Damn, now he said this guy's reaching the end of his career. He just got it started.
I said Thielen was. I said Thielen was, not Ham.
Yeah, the comparison still roped it together. Poor Ham. So, Title Hoop did come back with the dunk on our guy. Poor Ham. But, and he's there. Oh, he's back. Hoop. This is war. My guy Ham never misses a beat, man. So
Ham knows I love him. Ham actually did me a solid, so I shouldn't have taken that shot. Like I missed that FanDuel Live final, but my guy Ham got me the goods there, giving away some Ray-Bans there. He got his boy Hoop a pair of Ray-Bans and shipped them to him as well. So Ham, I do apologize for that comment, but man, I guess
shout out to the Tobias call too, man. That was insane on Friday.
Yeah, he's all over it, man. Ham's got it covered. We love Ham. Appreciate Ham. Won me a lot of money this season over on FanDuel, so I appreciate Ham. I got no violence for this guy. But let's keep it moving here. Let's talk about this next spot title. Washington at New York, the Jets. It's another low total. Kind of ugly, but maybe you can find some plays within this game. Obviously, Breece Hall seems to be the most popular spot here, but give me your takes on this spot.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Howell takes sacks like it's his job, which his job is not to take sacks, but he does. Jets D is going to be popular. Roll them with Breece Hall. It's going to be a popular stack. I like it a lot. I'll let you touch on the little Tambo tidbits, though. I did see that, but Breece Hall Jets seems like one of the strongest pairings running back defense today. Garrett Wilson, oh man, the price is so good. I'm going to have some, but obviously I don't like Trevor Siemian throwing the ball to anybody at wide receiver. So I'm kind of indifferent what to do with him. He'll probably be 15, 20%, something like that. I'll probably be somewhere around there. Don't want him to bury me because he's way too cheap for his talent and his target share, but it's also Trevor Siemian. And if they can get up, just run the football, I think they will. Washington side's a lot tougher. I respect the Jets D. There is no Brian Robinson. So I think Antonio Gibson, he was popular last week. Kind of failed. Now he's still 5,200 on this running back slate. He's going to get completely overlooked. He's not getting all the work though. So it is a trailing or they're not favored. They should be playing from behind. He can catch passes. I'll have a little bit, but I don't know. Like Scary Terry's killed me all year. Finally got there last week. There's Dotson. There's so many of these guys. I won't have too much. Maybe one. Like if I am doing a Breece or Garrett Wilson, you can skinny stack it and then just mix in one of them. I don't know which guy's going to be on their team. So at the end of the day, I'd rather fade it for the most part. Breece, Jets D, by far my favorites. I'll have some Garrett Wilson for the price too.
Yeah, Breece looks good here. The tidbit that's what you brought up, was the setup is pretty easy. It makes it awesome for a slate like this when you kind of have information that can go in this favor, is that he's only really valuable if you think they're winning or ahead, right? If they're going to be in the game or ahead, that makes sense. So then you can double down because the Jets D is popular. I don't really love playing these popular defenses, but if I'm going to, I kind of like it with Breece because then you would think there's more opportunities, more chances. Guy, on the other side just loves to throw the ball an absolute ton is Sam Howell. So if you think that the number is right on this, go there. If you don't think it's right, it's very easy to flip to the other side. And what's interesting is even with Brian Robinson Jr. out, there's not really any ownership going to Gibson. And I don't think it's because people are scared of Chris Rodriguez over there. It's just the nature of the slate that you could set it up the other way. And I think that could be something that you see happen here. So I definitely like both sides of the running backs in this game. I like our guy Go Collect brought up the Garrett pivot. Definitely opportunity to use him. I think you can also stack all three or mix in Conklin with Semien. He's only $4,700. Again, you know what you're fitting in if you get that, but there's a lot of big, high expensive price plays that you cannot fit on this slate. So if you want to get gross and go to some of these spots, that would be the way to do it. I prefer some more of the secondaries and stuff, but I can't say I don't have some of those. Hoop, I'll go to you. I know you don't have any of those, just knowing you, but any pieces in this game that you do like? Are you in on the Breece Hall stuff? Where are you at with this one?
Yeah, same for me. Literally exact same mindset as title. Like Breece Hall, Jets defense. I think phenomenal plays, phenomenal pairings, all that sort of thing. I'll reluctantly play some Garrett Wilson. He's not my favorite play, but man, I don't want to get buried by him, and I don't think I will. I mean, honestly, with Garrett Wilson, I could potentially just be off of him. It's looking like he's getting like really high ownership, and it's like crazy that a wide receiver that has Trevor Semien throwing him the ball is going to be one of the highest owned wide receivers on the slate. So now that I think about it a little bit more, I could potentially just fade Garrett Wilson and just really focus in on this being Breece Hall and Jets defense sort of game. Not playing any of these Washington guys. The Antonio Gibson thing, he barely played last week. I mean, he's barely on the field. Like, I think they like these other dudes over him without anything to play for at this point. I think these other guys get decent work, and I just can't see Gibson beating out all these workhorse running backs that we've already talked about and more to come. So, yeah, it's just going to be Breece Hall, Jets defense. And if I do play Garrett Wilson, it'll be under the field. And, again, like, it's crazy to me. He's going to be one of the highest owned wide receivers with Semien throwing him the football.
Yeah, just still like a wide receiver one for cheap. But I agree. The other thing is, too, if you got it going the other way, and you're not interested in Breece, not interested in all that stuff, I love just flipping the defense here and just playing the Commanders, because you're saying all this other stuff can't happen. We don't have to go with Gibson. You don't have to try and make a C-Rod work, even though this could be possible. He has been getting touches for the last 4 weeks now, which would
but it's like the pricing of these cheap running backs. Like, again, like C-Rod should be like 3,700. Then it's like, damn, all right, I can play a running back for 3,700. Like, let me give that a whirl. But he's 4,500. He's got to beat the. He's got to beat the real running backs on the slate. The guy's touching it 25 to 30 times. I just think it's a terrible play.
Yeah, I'm not advocating the play. I definitely have no C-Rod. I'm saying, but I can see why people wouldn't be on Gibson. And again, the floor price for the last year and a half now is $4K. We cannot get running backs at 3,700. It doesn't exist. I wish they should. It would make things sharper and better if they would do it. Last year, they finally messed around with the PGA pricing at times a little bit. I wish they would go back to it with this.
And that's PGA, the floor should be like 5K.
Yeah, make people think about actually playing these spots. And then the other angle, too, you mentioned earlier, Hoop, with the 2 tight end stuff, and then our guy Hoff brought it up again. That's another reason why it's been so prevalent to see these 2 tight end lineups work, because they don't price them at anything. We just explained it. Njoku, priced as a wide receiver 25, and he's been a wide receiver 10 or 12. Like, it's just the pricing is what it is. You do have to adapt. That's part of it. Let's move on, Hoop. Let's go to your future Super Bowl champion, Detroit Lions, going into Minnesota. We finally get a good game here. You got the jersey on. This is where the takes come out. Give us your thoughts on this one. Mullins looks to be, I think, the highest owned quarterback on the slate, maybe him or Fields, but at least in that price point, I can tell you he's the most popular. So it's going to be Mullins talk and then go into the rest of the stuff as well. Ty Chandler, Jefferson, Amon-Ra, etc.
I mean, so a game where 2 teams are definitely looking to win. Like, they both want to win this game. I mean, the Vikings absolutely need it. The Lions, and I think would clinch the playoff spot. So 2 teams that are going to want to come out and win this game in a dome is very appealing as well. Nick Mullins, 5,300. Solid play. I mean, he gets to throw the ball to Justin Jefferson. He gets to throw the ball to TJ Hawkinson. He gets to throw the ball to Jordan Addison. Ty Chandler looked really good last week. He has pieces around him at $5,300. In terms of his ownership, he's going to get some. But, I mean, we know the story with these quarterbacks. It's never to a point where you need to fade a guy because of his ownership. It's like it's always comes in lower than you anticipate. Easy to get overweight. And with him, Man, if you're playing a lot of Justin Jefferson, you're going to want some Mullins at 5,300. So I like all the pieces. Alexander Madison, I'm happy they said he's in. I just can't imagine they're going to Alexander Madison today over Ty Chandler with how well he played. I mean, this has to be Ty Chandler's backfield, I'd assume. So maybe this brings down the ownership on Chandler a little bit. That's my hope, the fact that they ruled in Madison. But the one guy I definitely want exposure to, which I'm glad we're talking about this game because I don't think I have any right now, and I'm going to literally add it on the show, is I'm going to add some Addison. There you go, Tambo. I'm going to add some Addison for you live here on the show because he has the big play upside that you want. If you're playing Mullins, I definitely want him in there. Now, Lions side is where it gets interesting for me because, this game has a 48 total. Lions team total sitting at 25. Jared Goff unowned. I'll take some. Amon-Ra St. Brown, not low owned, but lower than he's been most of the season. I'll take some of that. Sam Laporta, very, very low owned. We talked about these tight ends we like today. Double tight ends in play. Laporta, I'll be in on. Jameson Williams, 3,700, big play upside. They're going to continue to use this guy more as they make a push to the playoffs. The running backs a little bit tough. I mean, you got Gibbs at 7K, Montgomery at 6,900. Tough to get there, but I want the passing game for Detroit at no ownership whatsoever with one of the biggest team totals on the slate.
Yeah, I come around more to that as well. I'll kick it to your title, but just the thought of it. Someone said high owned Mullins, what can go wrong? We see it like the flip-flop all the time, the opposite side. If he's having a big game, it can easily be on the other side. I think again too, the thing about Jefferson can have a big game without Mullins because he doesn't necessarily drag him along. If he gets 10 for 120 and nothing else, that's still a really nice score for his price, but it doesn't mean Mullins did anything besides those yards that go with it. Could be Ty Chandler scores twice and then you get 10 for 120 from Jefferson or whatever it might be. I think Addison would bring Mullins along because Addison's going to be a touchdown, a big bomb touchdown, plus the yards, plus the bonus, plus all that. That is going to be something I think would add up at his 6K price tag. But the opposite side of this is Goff. And I know it's more of a statue play, but you got kind of, when you think about Amon-Ra, we got to talk JMO. We've been trying to make this work for weeks now. Here's the spot, right? Jameson Williams. And then you've got Hawkinson, guys like this over the middle. Hawkinson on one side, Laporta on his side. So two tight ends back within this game. So I think the Goff side still gives me a little bit of idea as well where you can go. What's your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I think Goff's totally fine because he has the weapons. I don't love it because the price, he has no rushing upside and the price isn't as cheap as the Mullins, but he has all the weapons. I definitely like Jameson Williams. Like someone said, Josh Reynolds. Jameson Williams is taking over his role as the number 2. Love him for 3,700. Ownership won't be there. Amon-Ra love. Laporta is going to be so low on. I mean, talking double tight end, if you go Laporta, Hawkinson, everyone loves the revenge game too. Hawkinson already in a great spot, adding the revenge right there. You'll be definitely different. And I mean, I look at those two as pretty much receivers, Laporta and Hawk. So love them for sure. I don't need to say anything more about Justin Jefferson. He's the man. He's too cheap. Will be popular. I will play him. Yeah, I mean, I'm so happy Madison's playing. I hope that scares people. Kevin O'Connell literally said earlier in the week, even if Madison plays, it's Ty Chandler's backfield. And yeah, Madison's been awful. Ty Chandler looked great. So I'm firing him up with confidence. Addison, I don't know. I doubt I get to too much Addison. I just love Jefferson. I love Chandler. I love Hawkinson a lot. He does have that upside. I do agree with you, Tambo. If he gets there, I think it is with Mullins. Mullins is Addison, the big play guy. He breaks one. 6K, you actually have to do something. Yeah. Don't think I get too much of him. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is really interesting in this spot, though, at 7K. His touches have come up as the year's gone on. He just has that 70-yard big play upside, can catch passes. Much prefer him to Montgomery. And he's in that range where people are going to want to save a little bit at running back in that high 5K, low 6K range with a lot of guys that are getting 20-plus touches. So I think Gibbs, very interesting contrarian spend that can break the slate with everyone going the Mullins side and that. Run Gibbs as the run back instead of anything else. And yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, this is the premier game on the slate in the dome with the pricing. Yeah, I mean, fired up on all cylinders. Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra, Laporta, Hawk, Chandler, Jefferson, Mullins, overstack it, game stack it. Feels like a spot like Hoop won the Millie last year with the Lions in Seattle, just all in on it. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. It's only a 9-game slate right here. Prices are great, so I love it.
Almost a perfect segue to the game we're going to next with Seattle, Tennessee, but you got to stop because you brought up a good point there. And I think that's where, just to shape it out a little bit, because people say, oh, it's so bad. He's so popular. There's nothing you could do. Like there is ways to get different there. Our guy Ham likes Gibbs as well. If you set up Mullins, Addison, Hawkinson with Gibbs on the other side, you're in the exact same game. And the only popular piece of all that is Mullins. But it's the flip of when people play the popular receiver with the quarterback nobody's on. You're playing the quarterback a lot of people are on, but with the pieces people aren't putting with it. Most people are putting at least one of Jefferson or Amon-Ra there, and you've got Gibbs with Addison and with Hawkinson, something along those lines. You could set it up different for sure. There's lots of ways that you can go within this game. You can completely overstack it, play 6 or 7 from this game. You could play Gibbs just by himself on the opposite side of a popular Chandler and popular Mullins and just hope that he runs it in that way. You could play Detroit defense with Gibbs. There's lots of different ways that you can go within this game. Title, if you can find us the first free month winner, I'll go to Hoop on this next one here. Hoop, Seattle, Tennessee, next game up. What are you doing here in this one?
Oh, yeah. It's not my favorite game on the slate. I know Geno Smith is a guy that's kind of showing up as a solid value. I get the play on FanDuel where he's really cheap, under 7K. But man, I don't know. This is a game I don't love. I mean, my favorite play in this game is going to be JSN at 4,500. I think he's a very solid option. Geno Smith, I don't absolutely love. Kenneth Walker kind of broke that showdown slate the other night. Not really going to be on him. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, I just don't have a bunch at this point. So this is, for me, the Seattle side is on DK, probably don't have much. On FanDuel, I'll have pretty solid exposure just because it gets you in a totally different pricing range over there on FanDuel. The Tennessee side with Tannehill in is, not super exciting either. Hopkins is cheap at 61. He'll be in my player pool, not going to have a ton. Treylon Burks at 3,100, fine option. And then Chig, if you want a full punt. There's not actually a lot of full punts at tight end. The best tight end plays are, 5K, 4K. Chig all the way down at 3,100, I think is a solid option. But these are all guys that I'll just have a little bit of. There's no priority plays for me in this game. Seattle on FanDuel, though, I'll have a bunch over there.
Yeah, it's an interesting one here, Title. If you got that winner, we'll give it out first. But Mayo, sorry, I cut you off. Mayo is the promo code right now. If you do want to get 10% off any of the monthly plans, you can lock that in, and then you'll get it for $2 a month, for example, for your first month. All right, what do we got here? Jamie Law. I've played NFL, NBA, and PGA for years as a hobby. Small stakes, so I've never hit anything big, but was always decently successful until the past couple years. Would love the chance to get in on the free month, I assume. So shout out to Jamie. Email us, screenshot your YouTube account, info@shipitnation.com. We'll get you set up well before lock to get you in on the action today, right after we get off of this show. Title, kick it over to you, man. Seattle, Tennessee, who mentioned it? There is some pieces here in some spots, and the Seattle side, it's kind of nice because you feel like a little bit more about where it's going, but this is another game like the last, just it doesn't feel as comfortable as the last with those pieces. So what are you doing in this one, Seattle, Tennessee?
Yeah, and I agree. I like Kenneth Walker a lot, though. I mean, coming off a 20-plus touch game against a brutal matchup in Philly, dominated. Everyone saw it. Running backs loaded, though. People are going to these other spots. I think he gets overlooked. 3-point favorites. He's minus 105 to score. I think Kenneth Walker is a very interesting contrarian running back play. Probably sub 10%. By far my favorite play in this game. If I skinny stacked it, it's pretty easy. I just go to DeAndre Hopkins on the other side. Again, I liked it more with Will Levis than Tannehill, but 6.1K, kind of in that Garrett Wilson range. He's going to get overlooked a little bit. Outside of that, it would just be taking shots on a DK Metcalf, Lockett, JSN, something like that, hoping to get the spike. But I like Kenneth Walker a lot. I think D-Hop's fine. But, yeah, other than that, don't love this game.
Yeah, as expected earlier, the Nico Collins play from earlier we were talking about is definitely good to go. Just talked to him again, so he's going to be playing today. As expected, but just to bring it up now. So just saw that one pop up. Kenneth Walker, our guy Ham likes him as well. I got some action with him over on FanDuel, but even here on DraftKings, 6,200. You mentioned I like Hopkins quite a bit at 6,100. You could make a case just with some of their stuff they've got going on for, like you said, if you want to play a Chig or a Burks or something like that, you could fit them in. But the Geno side, much more interesting with JSN, and then pick one of Metcalf or Lockett that way if you want to set it up there, and then you can run it back with a Hopkins or something along those lines. Derrick Henry, I've heard a little bit on too, like it'd be another spot just to go back, some flop lag maybe, because no one's going to be playing him this week. 6,800.
Minus 120 to score too, which did surprise me a bit because Tajee Spears has definitely gotten the mix. But with Tannehill back, you assume they're going to want to pound the football more. So that is interesting.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a quick 2-second break here and talk about this stuff for a minute. First of all, we went up. We're now, I think, 29 free subscribers away from giving away the annual membership. But we could also just hang on to that till Thursday, because I can tell you right now, almost 600 watching, less than 200 likes. Tis the season to give. It's free to give a thumbs up and click the like. It takes 2 seconds. That's the 2 seconds right now. 1, 2, go click it if you didn't already. It just takes 2 seconds and it's free. Hit the like. We won't be doing any more giveaways till 250. So that should happen pretty quick. And then we'll go from there. We've already given away one of the monthly memberships. The next giveaway will be another monthly and $100 to a member. And then at the end, it'll be $100 to a member and the 6 month to somebody who's not a member, thanks to our guy, DFS Juice. But even if we hit the subscribers on this channel here, we got to get a lot more likes rolling to feel comfortable about giving that one away today. Like we said, as long as we give it away by the end of the year. But the Mayo Media Network post is up there now. It's just youtube.com/@ShipItNation. Very easy to do. All these things are free. We give away everything. Our shows are all free. So when it comes to the video content, there's not much hidden besides if you want our courses, which, by the way, also come free when you sign up. So any membership comes with all 3 of these courses. We did just record, if you're getting in the mood and getting ready for PGA, Hoop and I just recorded. It's a 2-hour course on PGA DFS, breaking down our process as it relates to PGA DFS. You can pause it, zoom in, figure it out if you want to see all the things we talk about. One of the hardest things to get right in PGA DFS is roster construction. Broke that down, including how to use ownership, weather, wave stacking, the punt plays. Talked about the live finals. If you ever wanted to get to the Fantasy Golf World Championship, it's one of the best out there. Super exciting to be at. Lucky enough to be there the past couple of years, but not in the finals as a guest. Made it to round 2 both times and got booted. But just to say it, there is a different format to it. Feel very good about that and breaking it down. And then a ton of money to be made in Showdown when it comes to PGA. So it's going to be awesome. We answered all of our members' questions, gave all the answers to that stuff. Got a lot of good things going on over here at the Nation. If you guys want to check it out, you can use promo code Mayo to get in on the action. Title, I'll kick it back to you, man. We got Indy at Atlanta and Jonathan Taylor, no Moss. There's, the Pittman stuff was crazy. He was hopefully going to did get out for a minute of concussion protocol, goes right back into it, and now he's out again. So what's your thoughts on the Indy Atlanta game? We got a decent total here, 44.5. It's healthy, at least for this slate.
Yeah, I love both running backs in this game. And, man, saying I love Bijan Robinson is really tough to say, but he really couldn't be in a better spot. As favorites in a dome, great matchup. Heineke's back there. They're going to want to run the football. I like Bijan a lot. Probably going to be donating more money to Bijan. JT's an awesome spot as well. No Pittman, no Zach Moss. The workload's all his. Can catch passes out of the backfield. Firing up both of these guys in a lot of teams. Kyle Pitts, Heineke. So Heineke's starting for Atlanta. Most people probably know that, but he's like Kyle Pitts. And Pitts is only 4K. Tight end's absolutely loaded. So I think Pitts gets overlooked. Him and like Tucker Kraft down there stand out. Tight end's absolutely loaded. Definitely you can play 2 tight ends on this slate. Outside of that, I don't know, like this DJ Montgomery, Josh Downs without Pittman. Montgomery's only 3.3K. Ran a lot of routes when Pittman left last week. Josh Downs is 5.5, so he has to do a little more. I think I have a little interest in DJ Montgomery, just kind of flipping the build. Nobody's really going to go down to that price range. People will stop at Wicks. Again, there just isn't too many spends on this slate people want to go to. So especially if you do want to get exposure to this Dallas and Miami game or something like that, you're going to need some punts. I think he's fine, but mainly the 2 guys, love Bijan, love JT, and then you can mix in a Pitts, a London, Down, something like that.
Yeah, some of the members talking. Shout out to Kim. Happy holidays to you. Always active in the Discord. Love to see it. The courses are awesome. Lots of good info with them. Nick says the membership comes with Discord. You don't need a separate Patreon account or anything like that to talk with everybody that's in there. The community is awesome. Michael says, if you're on the fence, join. The courses alone are worth the price. We talked about this, like obviously in the future, lots of people sell base courses. There's other DFS courses out there you can go pay $99 or $199 for that are awesome courses, very advanced, in-depth information, but these are more direct. These are, sit around the kitchen table with your friends talking about the exact stuff actual members that are living and doing what you're probably doing, playing this game, want to know, and then breaking down our own personal processes in a video format, or you can download the audio, but it's also like kind of like an itinerary. You can jump around. Oh, I just want to learn about Showdown, or I just want to learn about live finals today. You can mix and match and always go back to them as well. So in the future, may charge for the courses, but right now, SHIPIT Nation education is free for everybody that joins. And then, yes, the stack rankings, we got to get to this now. This is a good call. So this is what I was waiting to share. One of my favorite tools all season over here at SHIPIT Nation. This is updated too. As of this morning, we did put all the slates in. So don't forget, never Mahomes. That's only for main slates. So you guys might want to check out the content this afternoon when we flip it for the third time this week from the 2-gamer yesterday to the main today to tomorrow's holiday slate. But Mahomes is popping up there. Wacko for Flacco. We already talked about Mullins. We'll get to Fields here shortly, but Heineke is popping up as our number one value stack of the week. And it's because kind of what Title said. You don't have to go all the way there. I know people in the chat were talking about Indy D and all that sort of stuff, but Heineke is 4,800. You can get away with just Heineke, Pitts, Jonathan Taylor. Shut it down. You don't have to worry about Bijan at that point. If you don't, it's funny, Tyler, you said donate money to Bijan. You're donating money on Bijan. Don't give him any more because, man, this guy has not come through for us. He's actually cost us cheese. We can't give him any more cash, but we can put money on him this week and see what he does. I'm interested with you there, but I don't hate that Pitts call because it is just a loaded position. When I'm trying to go away from the really good plays at a spot like tight end, where what I always call a onesie position, you got to get it right. There's only one. You can play two, but you at least got to get it right in the one spot there to get to the top of these large field tournaments. I don't mind doing it when I'm going away with a stack somewhere else that allows me to do other things. And this would be an example here where you get Pitts in a good spot with Heineke, use Jonathan Taylor, and you're already so different across the board. You can kind of fill it out however you want there. Hoop, you got thoughts on this one here, man? What are you doing in this one? I think you like JT, right?
Yeah, I like JT a lot. Obviously no Zach Moss. There's no risk of a split or anything like that. When JT's been in, we saw everything kind of trend towards him a little bit, and I think he gets a huge workload today. No, Michael Pittman is a big boost. I mean, you look at these pass catchers, have to imagine they're going to want to feed JT. They need to win this game as well. It's not like it's a throwaway game or anything for them. They need this one. The best way for them to get this win is to get the ball in Jonathan Taylor's hands, and I think they do it a lot today. So I think Jonathan Taylor is a really, really solid option. Mix in some downs. DJ Montgomery, like you guys talked about, I think is a fine punt on the slate. And then, I'm just not playing. They have like 12 tight ends that they use. So I'll just, not even try to figure out that situation and kind of move on. So it's really, JT on the Colts side. But yeah, the price on Bijan Robinson, 6,300 in a game that they're like favored. There's not many times where the Falcons are favored at home in this dome. I just got to be on Robinson today. And, I'm sure Algier and Patterson will have like 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. And I'm staring at all my Bijan Robinson shares and wanting to smash my fucking computer on Christmas Eve. But that's just going to be the case today. There's just no way around it. I got to play this guy. I have to. Drake London, I really won't be playing much of these pass catchers. Pitts, I don't mind that call. He should be really low on. There's so many tight end plays. Someone mentioned Jonnu Smith at 2,900. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I talked about it with Chig. A lot of the good tight ends on this slate are in the 6K range, 5K range, 4K range. There's not many full punts. So Jonnu Smith at 29, I think is fine. Chig at 31, we talked about a couple games ago, fine. But for me, this game is going to be all about the running backs.
Yeah, shout out to our guy Sean V. Always willing to take his own angles on things in the chat, supporting all the time. Appreciate you, man. Happy holidays. Says this is true. This is in the tidbits a few weeks ago. Mind you, it did go with a Ritter tidbit. It was Ritter, Pitts, and London together at home. All had these better games and better spots, but you still got to stick to it. So I don't hate that. And if you are trying to level up, like he says later, is Bijan doesn't actually get used a ton in the passing game. He should get busy as we get down there and see and still get a lot of action today. People talking about Arthur Smith being on the hot seat and whatnot. But if you want to go Heineke, London, Pitts, and still do the JT thing, it's you're double leveraging it and going that way. I don't have the 2v2 swapperoo is what it was. The switcheroo, they're calling it now today. I mentioned in Green Bay, Carolina, I think you can do it. I don't have the exact price points down on that one. This is definitely another spot, though. I think that people are heavier on Bijan side of things with someone like a Downs or a Montgomery or something like that on the Indy side with no Pittman. And I think you could flip it that way and go to the passing attack with Atlanta, run it back with the Indy game there. And it does match up with our stack ranking. So I can promise you I'll be going there with that when we come back around. Title, I'm going to go to you on Jacksonville, Tampa Bay. What's funny, though, is we got to take another 2 seconds because still almost 600 watching. As soon as we said the next giveaway, it was when the likes hit 250. We get to the 254 number, and then it just halts and shuts down. So 1, 2, hit the like. It takes 2 seconds, man. Just go hit the like. Figure it out. We got to get to that. I'll let Hoop work on finding the member winner for the $100 and then another monthly winner right now, Hoop. So a monthly winner for someone random in the chat and a $100 member winner while Title takes us through the first afternoon game of Jacksonville, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the best games on the slate as well. You got 2 pass funnels, Baker coming off a monster game. Lawrence was looking doubtful on Wednesday, pass concussion protocol on Saturday, which is absolutely huge. No Zay Jones as well. Rashad White looks to probably be the most him and Ridley look to be two of the more popular plays in this game. I'll throw Ingram in that boat as well. I think in tournaments I'm going to get away from Rashad White a little bit. It is a tough matchup. Again, Jacksonville, both teams let it through the air more. I get it. Rashad White's role is absolutely huge. But in tournaments, like we mentioned, all these Kenneth Walker, Aaron Jones, Bijan, JT, there's a lot of good running backs on this slate. I think I like taking an underweight approach, and I like getting overweight on the passing game. Sign me up for Baker. Someone mentioned if he wins this game, he gets an extra $1 million too. Bucs are in conversations to roll it back, run it back with Baker next year as the starting quarterback. So he definitely has a lot to play for. Love Mike Evans. We got Godwin coming off a monster game. Kate Otton's always on the field. You're talking about cheap tight ends, 3,300. The dude's always on the field, like I said. So I like some Baker. Mike Evans is my favorite target there. As far as the other side with Jacksonville, ETN's interesting because I think he just can't really get ownership at 6,600. I do prefer the passing game. Ingram, Ridley will get some ownership. I like him. I prefer him if I do play Lawrence, who's going to come in, I think, pretty low owned at 6,600. I'm not worried about it as a concussion. He passed the test. He does have some rushing upside as well. He has plenty of weapons. No Zay Jones makes it a little concentrated as well. Love Calvin Ridley at 6'3", 6'8" on FanDuel is a great price too. ETN right in that mid-tier, getting all the work, catching passes, should get overlooked a bit. I love this game, everything about this game. As far as the cheapies, like I know Jamal Agnew made a lot of people some cheese on Showdown. I can't do that. Parker Washington, I don't know, 3,800. I much prefer the Wicks of the world and stuff. Give me the main guys, Baker with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Otton. Give me Lawrence side with Ingram, another great tight end. Use him in 2 tight end sets or 2 tight end teams. Ridley, and yeah, it's probably, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if I want to get to Parker Washington guys too much, but Lawrence, Ridley, Ingram, ETN, I like on that side. Focus on the main guys. I will say I don't mind the Buccaneers defense at 2,600 too. They can get after the quarterback a bit. So, and Ridley's going to get some ownership. Ingram's going to get some ownership. I don't know. Tampa stood out to me a little bit at home with a pretty solid pass rush.
Yeah, I gotta give our guy Smarty some stuff here, man. He says, Tambo, check the stack rankings. Looks like a lion got mixed in. He said, DJ Montgomery, what you know about $3,300 DJ Montgomery getting all the snaps last week. Now no Pittman. That ain't wrong. That's the stack right there. DJ Montgomery and Pierce, no downs with Minshew. That's the right stack, Smarty. So always loving our guy Smarty. He's the man, always helping us out there. Our guy.
Did PJ Washington make it for the Jaguars?
We got to get him in there too. Yeah, don't forget him. PJ Washington
didn't make it.
No. Shout out to Juice. He's giving away the 6-month membership at the end of the show. He's calling his shot here on this one too. I guess it's because he can't play Will Levis this week. He's got to switch things up. That's been his dude. But Evan Ingram, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns on 7 receptions. The exact bet. If you can find it out there, you get some good odds on that one. Hoop, you find some winners?
I'll give you $200, Juice, if you get that exact right. $7.95 for 2. $200 right to your wallet.
That'd be wild.
Title of making a lot of money off that stat line, I think, as well. So 200 won't be much.
All right, 200 is 200.
Yeah, it still is. Hoop, what do we got, man? Winners, $100 for a member and a 1-month free membership as well.
The member winner is going to be, where's our boy at? Morphe End 88. Been with us from, I think, day one. We're going to give him $100. I mean, a loyal member at SHIPIT Nation. So he'll get the 100, and then the monthly giveaway is going to go to. Got to find the comment now. First-time messenger, long-time subscriber of the show, I'm assuming. All right. With the week off, I'd love the opportunity to finally do some research for free in addition to watching you and all the shows over here on Mayo Media Network. So straight flushes will get the free membership.
From straight flushes to straight crushes once they get in.
There we go. I like that.
We'll get you set up. Straight flushes. Send us a screenshot of your YouTube account to info@shipitnation.com. We'll get you set up with that 1 month free right after we get off the show. And congrats to Morphe, founding family member. Appreciate you always in there helping out, doing that. And Juice, even already, the guy literally can't take anything.
I'm not letting him. I just responded.
Like, this guy's the man. Always helping people out. Love to see that. That's what it's all about. Hoop, I'll go to you on this one, man. Jacksonville, Tampa Bay. The chat wants to know if they're going to let Mayfield bake again. It's a difference of let Russ cook, who literally still never cooks. And we got to figure it out tonight on the showdown slate, but we'll get there. Let's keep it going with this one. 2 games after this, but third last game, Hoop. Jacksonville, Tampa Bay.
Russell Wilson has to be a carryout guy because he never does any cooking. I'll tell you that much. I mean,
I like it. Nice.
DoorDash or something like that.
He's a DoorDash guy.
Right?
Yeah. He's a DoorDash I love him when they're like pouring bowls of cereal, and that's how Russ is cooking. Twitter's good. Or X, as Tambo likes to say.
Yeah, he's definitely Uber Eats,
Twitter
DoorDash.
is the official now. Yeah. Go ahead.
So the Tampa Bay side kind of reminds me of the Rams, how the Rams, back to full health, they found their stride. They have a running back that gets all the work. They have a reliable tight end. It's kind of where we're at, I think, with the Bucs right now. Baker Mayfield just kind of falling into his own. Chris Godwin getting a ton of targets, double-digit targets in the last 2 games. That's how they've been successful. Obviously, Tom Brady at quarterback, much, much different. But feeding guys like Godwin had worked. The bombs to Mike Evans, then you have Otten, who's a solid tight end. It just seems like they're kind of coming into their own at the right time. And it's easy to say, obviously, with Baker coming off that, phenomenal game last week. But this is a spot they need to win. Baker can get there passing the ball to Rachaad White. Rachaad White can get there by, scoring at the goal line or racking up a bunch of catches. He's had a lot of, long receptions as well. So it just seems like a really good spot. So I want to be in on Tampa Bay in a pretty big way today. On the Jacksonville side, though, I think it's, even more interesting because people are going to play the Baker Mayfield stuff, but the Trevor Lawrence situation, with him being questionable all week, his ownership's going to be very low. And he has 2, big time targets, I think, in Calvin Ridley and Evan Ingram. Wherever I was actually going to point out the comment from our guy Juice, because I think Evan Ingram just smashes today. I think this is an Evan Ingram call. It's not, not as hot as the Gabe Davis thing going off, but it's going to be Evan Ingram's having a big game today. And that's going to be, one of my, I don't know if it is, I guess it's not necessarily like a bold call, but I think he has a massive game today. So Ingram, Ridley, I want some Parker Washington. I'll take a little bit of Agnew and then ETN as well. I want all these offensive pieces, man. I want the quarterbacks. I want the running backs. I want the wide receivers, and I want the tight ends. This is going to be a premier game for me today on the slate.
They were saying it earlier. We talked through all these games. We talked through Detroit Mini. We talked about Seattle, Tennessee, and people were bringing up the overstack stuff. And now Hoop drops the overstack hammer on everyone with Jacksonville, Tampa Bay. This is the spot. We got Trevor Lawrence up here. The chat just talked about it. Our guy, AF Gator Jag, T-Law, Ridley, Ingram. It's right there. It's right in the stack rankings. You got to eject Patrick Mahomes out because this is a main slate. He's not even on it. So we actually can say never Mahomes on this main slate. And then if you don't like Joe Flacco and chasing that one, you're not into the Nick Mullins chalk, and you don't like Heineke, it's like Fields, T-Law are probably the two best. So here's the thing. Nades and I do the review shows every Monday. They just ended. Last week was the last one, but we said it all season with these stack rankings. They've been crushing, but it's almost always been the quote-unquote real quarterbacks that come through off this, and that would be, to me, Fields and Lawrence. The other guys are going to come through in different ways through your DFS lineups. Like I said, I don't mind making like a Heineke Pitts London because you can go fit whatever else you want in there, and they just have to do enough. But the ones for this to happen, T-Law shipping, you got to have the real deal in there, and he's back, healthy, ready to play. Smarty.
This is always lingering. There is no doubt about it. I mean, 15-point Trevor Lawrence is always there. Like that possibility is always out there.
But Hoop just told us that's not a possibility today, so this has been.
I hope it's not. I hope it's not because I'm playing his ass way over the field. So I hope the 15 guy doesn't show up. What we need is our boy Nades in here because Nades, that first game that Lawrence went off, Nades was in here literally peeling to Trevor Lawrence. So we got to get Nades' take on this.
But you've said in the past that T-Law is not really the guy, and now today you're heavy on him. So this would be a spot where you could also say it's kind of like the one, at least so far, it's the one you pegged to be your spot. I do like Tim's comment here as well, though. This is another one that gets wrapped into, like, I know what people are going to say out there. Oh, actually, I see it getting the late steam. Other people like it too. It's going to be popular, all these things. But just like that Minnesota spot earlier, you can play one side and use the other side as well. Mix in a guy like ETN, who's been getting more targets this season, more work in his own right, and he's the opposite side of White. So there's other ways that you could stack up this game. I just, like Blue Hoop said, I like the T-Law side and mixing in those guys. Even our boy PJ, aka Parker Washington, could get mixed in as well. Did you see another one there, Title? You're laughing over there. What do you got?
The PJ Washington thing, I just keep laughing at.
Okay, I seen some other good comments in there. I thought you had another one. Okay, let's move on. Second last game of the slate. I know who our guy Nades is peeling to. He just posted his core in the chat. Spoiler alert, again, if you get in, be a member at SHIPIT Nation, get in the Discord. There's all kinds of stuff floating around in there, but it might be somebody in this game. Hoop, I'm going to stay with you on this one. We got Kyler Murray versus Justin Fields. Chicago favored by 4 at home, a 43-point total. It is in Chicago. It'd be a lot better if it was in Arizona, but still decent total for where they're playing at. Any thoughts in this one?
Yeah, I mean, Justin Fields is in a really good spot. I mean, where we're lacking a lot of these high-end quarterbacks. We don't have, Josh Allen, Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson. They're all off this slate. They're all on, the primetime games kind of. Justin Fields kind of stands alone as a guy that could just go off here, and the price is pretty fair. They're without their running back. His connection with DJ Moore is phenomenal. Cole Kmet's playing. He was questionable. Just all lines up to solid Justin Fields day and a really good matchup at home against the Cardinals. So love the spot for Fields. You can play Mooney, 3,300, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, all solid options to pair with Fields. Just strikes me as a really good game, really good spot. You have one big natural run back on the other side in Trey McBride, who I think smashes as well. I mean, who the hell is Murray going to throw the ball to? I mean, look at his wide receivers. He's got Wilson, Michael Wilson, Rondale Moore, and Greg Dortch as his wide receivers. The ball is going to Trey McBride today. If they're trailing, if they're playing with the lead, it doesn't matter. Trey McBride should get peppered today. So just another really solid tight end play. Almost prefer double tight end builds now that we're talking through this. Like, with as much as I like Ingram and some of these other guys, like, double tight end, I think, is the play today. I actually really like it. Like Justin Fields, Kmet, and McBride as a team. Like, I think that's like a really solid starting point for your lineups. Obviously, Fields will be owned. McBride will be owned. There's a lot you can do with that. A lot of flexibility when you play something like that. Michael Wilson, 3,700. Interested in him. Decent receiving prop today. Rondale Moore at 35. Maybe a little bit of him. And I do like some Kyler Murray, just kind of running it back with the opposite quarterback. We know everyone's going to Fields today at 7,100. Kyler Murray has similar upside to a guy like Justin Fields. Like, if everything goes right for him, he can rush in 2 touchdowns. He can throw it, deep to some of these guys. He can pass for 2 to 3 touchdowns. Like, he's got similar upside at a fraction of the ownership. So I'm going to be on both sides of this one for sure. Again, another appealing game, I think, here today in this afternoon. We got 3 games in the afternoon. So yeah, I like a lot of pieces in this game. tight ends, though, for sure, in this one really stand out to me.
Said it's a peeling game. Now you're over here peeling to this one. So it's a spot for Hoop to get in on the action. But it is interesting, too, Title, just that side with the Trey McBride piece for a minute. Obviously, we know how good of a play he is. If he actually does what we want him to do at 5,700, you'd have to think it involves Kyler Murray as well. I know he's a guy that can just rack him up 8 for 80 or whatever in a score, but with the factors at hand here where like Bears D getting a little late steam, you've got Kyler on the opposite side of Fields. You got some conversation now with overnight news of no Foreman, where it's like people deciding between Roschon and Herbert. You got all this stuff going on, and McBride's going to be popular as a standalone or as a secondary stack. Now we're going to see Roschon and McBride's and things like that stand out. What's your thoughts on going to the Kyler side and then talk through the rest of it?
Yeah, I mean, I like it. He's showing like 5%, 4%. Like you get 10%, you're double the field. Like I'm not trying to get 30% Kyler. I do respect this Bears defense. Weather is good in Soldier Field at least, but literally 10%, 15%, you're 2-3x the field when I already love Trey McBride. And then to pair him with. There's no Hollywood Brown, thank goodness. You don't have to burn more money on him. Michael Wilson, solid price tag at 3.7K. It's only those two that I have interest in for the pass catchers. And I will say I don't mind throwing James Conner. He's going to be very low owned, 5.9K, surrounded by all these other guys. Talk about a bell cow guy. He's getting the work. He can catch some passes out of the backfield. Again, the matchup isn't great, but I'll take any guy that's going to be sub 10% getting all the work. So, yeah, easy to get overweight on Kyler. Has the rushing upside. I already love McBride. He'll get ownership, but pairing those two together is a way to get difference. Outside of that, yeah, that's it on Arizona. Just Michael Wilson, McBride, Kyler, James Conner. Bear side, yeah, Justin Fields is in a smash spot. Cardinals defense is awful. He's going to get ownership, rightfully so, though. He has clear pairings. DJ Moore. Love Cole Kmet, too. I mean, I was shocked. Cole Kmet, plus 190 to score. McBride, plus 195. Did not see that coming. Obviously, they're implied for more points, but I think Cole Kmet is a very interesting tight end on this slate as well. Tight end's completely loaded as we keep talking about it. Darnell Mooney, 3,300. I think he's interesting. DJ Moore, Mooney, Fields. He's a complete punt down there. Can get you on a different build. And I think Roschon Johnson is interesting too. People might miss the Foreman news. 4,800 plus 165 to get in the box. We haven't talked about many running backs sub 5K that are in play. They're favorites. And then you're leveraging off. If you don't play the Fields more, you're leveraging all the chalk. Roschon falls in the box twice at 1-2%. I wouldn't be surprised to see that end up on the millie. The last thing is I think both defenses are in play as well. Everyone wants to go Fields. We know he can take plenty of sacks. So Cardinals D, very low ownership. We know Kyler Murray can definitely take sacks too. So yeah, this game definitely has some goodness, but you can go this game in so many different ways. Like we just talked about, you want to leverage Fields chalk, Roschon Johnson, Bears D, something like that. Play Kyler. He's low owned. There's chalky pieces in this game. There's also plenty of low owned pieces in this game too.
Yeah, this Jerry says it here. That's crazy. They do it is 12 and it's spaced out. It's like 3, 4, 2, 3. Like it's a lot of INTs. Now, Kyler doesn't typically throw a lot. He can, we'll see. But like as far as INTs go, but at 2,800 on DraftKings, they're cheap over on FanDuel as well. I think they're more than in play. I like this call. I like when you brought up Mooney. Ways to separate yourself in this game are a cheap Mooney and using Connor on the opposite side, similar to how we talked about earlier with like ETN opposite Baker stacks or a Gibbs opposite Minnesota stacks. Just a great tournament slate all around because of that. And I'm sure I shout out to our guy Benet. Going to see him in Arizona coming up at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. Excited for that. We'll be down there with the SHIPIT crew along with our guy Degenerate75 and his crew. Going to be an awesome time. Anybody can come out. We'll have some different nights. So we'll be out and about down there. But says this, I think for sure title today, right? It has to be at least somewhat in play with all the options.
Yeah, or running back is how I'm seeing it right now. I think both, looking at plenty of teams, both viable, but definitely not receiver for what I'm seeing, tight end or running back for sure. And I also want Tambo getting the play of the day. Title nailed it. I said a good amount of plays. Was it Roschon or was it Connor?
It's Roschon.
Roschon, that's what I thought. Yeah.
And it reminded me, though, I'm glad he brought that up. I was going to say one more thing about that. So remember, if you guys watch this, I know some people watch it for the first time. We appreciate you all. But if you've watched us all season long, we talked at the start of the season from the tidbits as well. Somebody put this information out there, which is great, that it was like you kind of knew what it was with Roschon and one other guy. Because remember, Herbert and Foreman were back and forth on injuries. And it was like Roschon in catch-up scripts. The only thing I will say here, though, this late in the season with the Bears team and stuff like this, I actually think it could be Herbert or Roschon. It just kind of doesn't matter at this point. I think they either could see what they got in Roschon. It could end up that he's in a catch-up script. It could end up that they're ahead and they decide to just keep rolling him out. Like, I really don't mind landing on either. Like, for example, on DraftKings, I think it's 4,800 for Roschon, 4,600 for Herbert. Wherever you land, if you're playing it with the Chicago D, I really don't mind that at all. And you just set it up that way. I think it's fine. Obviously, all the other stuff we already talked through. I like this. Let's get in to this last game. Before we do, and I'm going to stick with you here, Title. I do want to see real quick, 312 likes. So we got to get to at least 350 to give away the other $100 here at the end. But then we do have the 6-month giveaway. I'll let Hoop start running it back to look for some good ones on that. I'll let Title start us off on Dallas, Miami. And correct me if I'm wrong, Title. Obviously, we know not a lot of people are seemingly getting to this game, but did the total drop some too? Like, I thought this was a little higher to start the week. Maybe it's come down some, even with the news of some of these guys being in, but I can check that if you want to start talking through it anyway.
Yeah, when Hoop and I talked on the Friday cast show, I believe it was 50, and now it's sitting at 48, so it did come down a bit. I'm not sure exactly what it opened at, but yeah, 2 points is decent, substantial. But as far as like this game, even if it went up, it's still so hard to get to because the value, like if you are going to this game, you're playing I'm saying PJ Washingtons, the Darnell Moonies, the Roschon Johnson, like you're going to have to go to some of these punts because if you play this game, if you're playing the Miami side with Tua, well, I would want to play Tyreek or Waddle or both with them. That's very tough to do. If I'm playing Dak, I want CD with them. That's really expensive to do. So I don't see myself again, we compared it earlier to that Philly Buffalo game like a month ago. It was the only game that stood out with a high total, but it was going overlooked because of the owner or because of the pricing. I'm seeing it the same way. My favorite play in this game, let's load up another tight end, baby. Jake Ferguson, absolute monster, good price tag, fits a lot of builds. He's my favorite. The other two that I like, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek, of course, their ownership is going to be somewhat in check because Justin Jefferson with that 1K savings, I think, and Amon-Ra on that good game as well. Salaries, I don't know, kind of tough on this slate, especially if you're wanting to stack it. So I like Tyreek and CD as one-offs or skinny stacks. I like Jake Ferguson. I don't know if you can see the future and if you know it's going to be a chain or if it's going to be Mostert, play them. I have no clue which one it's going to be. One of them probably smashes. They're both expensive though, 71, 7,300. You can't miss on that position and at that price. So I doubt I get to much there. But yeah, it's really Ferguson, my favorite, Tyreek, CD, but I won't have many stacks of this game.
Yeah, I mean, you need the perfect run out. That's the thing. We talked pre-show, and I'll give it here quickly, and we're giving it all, showing it off today. It's the giving season. We said, give us the likes. It's the only thing we ask. It helps us, and it's free to do. But the Cowboys, way down the board. Tua, Tyreek, Waddle is actually the better value. Even though, like, remember how this works is this is saying on our projections, bringing in the cost value and everything, there's not a better version of like a Tyreek and a cheap guy, like a Smythe. It still doesn't work out. This is the better value, but it's not a good value versus the rest of what we have on this slate. So just to keep that in mind. But I was saying it earlier, Title, like the pre-show when I was talking to you guys, it was Dallas and Philly a few weeks ago. And you literally needed the perfect run out. Like the teams got there, but you had to have, it was Allen with Gabe Davis and Shakir only had like 9.6 or something, but he made it work. But you needed Davis, not Diggs, to make that happen because you couldn't even afford Diggs and you couldn't afford AJ Brown. But everyone just happened to get the Devontae Smith 26-point day or whatever it was. So like it just worked out perfect. Can you set that up today? Absolutely. You can go Dak, Brandon Cooks, Ferguson, bring it back with Waddle, or pick one of the running backs that are in that same price range as Jonathan Taylor, Rashad White, all the other guys that are just below it. But if it doesn't feel as comfortable for you, I understand that as well. I think there's some late swap opportunity there because we already know not many people are getting to this game. You could also look at the running backs, and I'll kick it to you here, Hoop, like the Mostert setup. It has been Mostert for sure, but Achane here, if you see a spot late in the season, if you could see a spot where Miami's up and just takes over here, I could see where you get to Achane with the Miami D or something as a way to get a little bit different. We just saw that work last week with James Cook and the Buffalo D going up against Dallas. I just don't know if we see Dallas fall flat twice. I mean, for that, we got to kick it to Hoopster because he was the whisperer on that last week. I don't know if it'll be the same here, Hoop, but we can hold off on the winners anyway. We got to wait for some more likes. So if you want to just leave those for a second, you can talk about this game.
Yeah, so I mean, you look at this game, Dallas, Miami, two of the better offenses in the NFL, big total on the slate, and you want to be in on it. You want to have guys from this game. You want to have some stacks. And you go to build, and it's like, man, it's actually relatively hard to do it. Like if you're playing this game, who do you want? You want Dak and you want Tua as your quarterback. Well, they're the two most expensive quarterbacks on the slate. All right. Well, I want CeeDee Lamb and I want Tyreek Hill. They're the two most expensive wide receivers on the slate. Well, maybe I want Jalen Waddle. He's right up there at 7,800 on the slate. And then it's like, okay, well, if I can't get those guys, who do I go to? And on the Miami side, it's put your hands up. Like, who the hell is it going to be? Which running back, which expensive running back is going to get there? Is it Mostert? Is it A-Chain? They don't really use a tight end, so that side's difficult. On the Dallas side, it's like, all right, maybe I can't get to a Dak and CeeDee Lamb stack. Where do I go? Brandon Cooks, Gallup, Ferguson does make some sense. Tony Pollard, he sucked all season long. It's a difficult spot to get to. It will be low owned, but again, if you're playing it and you're playing the key pieces, you're immediately all value. Like if you do, Dak, CeeDee Lamb, and you want to run it back with someone on the Miami side, you can't afford Tyreek, and you go to Waddle. You got Dak, CeeDee Lamb, Waddle. You're 100% value the rest of your lineup. You're playing all cheap guys. Like you can't get any other premium plays. You do Tua and Tyreek, probably can't afford CeeDee Lamb. You go as Ferguson, you're still mostly value the rest of your lineup. So it's just a really difficult game to get to. I dug into it last night. I wanted to get in on this one. It's just it's tough to do so. It really is, unless you can sell yourself on a Cooks or Ferguson or I don't even know who the hell you can sell yourself on the Miami side outside of Tyreek and Waddle. So it's a difficult game. As much as I want to be here, I'm just not going to be landing here all that much today. I mean, I will have shares of CD. I will have shares of Tyreek, but stacking this one up, it's not going to be in the cards for me today.
This one's good, Thomas. I should be the winner because I'm rostering Bryce Young, so I'm lighting my money on fire. Probably actually needs it at that point, like you said. But Mayo talked me into some of those ones, so I can't hate. It's again, if you're playing like a Mingo and a Thielen or something like that, I get it. But yeah, it's tough there. This one is tougher, like you said. I guess if you want to get a piece of Tyreek, it's hard to on both sides. It's what I always say. He's 9,600 when he gets the 80-yard touchdown in the first quarter after leaving the game and going to the tent, because that's what he does. And then he comes back and scores a touchdown all the time. Once all that plays out, remember, he's still almost 10,000 and you still need a lot to get there. So it's really tough just to think about this one, but obviously getting in the mix, like I said, it's kind of the way I like it is the Dak, the Cooks, the Ferguson, run it back with a Tyreek or a Waddle, but pick your spot with the running back, pick your spot with the running back. But the way I like it is to pick my spot with the running back. And I mentioned it earlier, A-Chan with the Miami D, making it make sense that Miami does get ahead here, take action, and you see A-Chan take over from there. I could definitely see that happening. So I like that angle for sure. Shout out to our guy, Mark, who won the Millie just recently. So hopefully a good holiday season for you and the fam there, my friend. It should be a million reasons why it should be a great season for you. The Tambo elf pick, it's not better than the Tambo video, though, that you dragged in a few weeks back. And then poor Hoopster had to let go of that Merino jersey. Shout out again to our guy, Chris here. Said, wanted to stop by, say what's up, drop a like, and happy holidays. Appreciate you, man. He gave away that signed Merino jersey.
Yeah, to Hoop's son's burner account.
Yeah, that's what they said, right? Here's Nick. Yeah, it's too bad we won't have a review show to break down your lineups because he always says I'm going to win the Millie. My best supporter. Truly appreciate you, Nick. He said today, he pinpointed. He said, I'm going to win the Millie, which is the norm. Still hasn't happened, mind you. But he said Title and Hooper winning $300K each too.
I'll take it.
1.6 million on the panel. I think everybody would take it if you could just take
sign me up for that. Yeah. I'll where do I sign for that? I'm in.
One team, one dream. They don't even care that I got the extra $700K coming in. They know it'll shoot back around some way, shape, or form. But yeah. All right, let's talk about this one, Hoop. We got just shy, I think, of the 350 likes. But
I was trying to find the dude that was stuck in the basement all day, like that comment. I can't find it though. Like I went all the way back. Is that worthy?
We need another member winner for the $100. I'm going to scroll back for a second.
And then the 6-month giveaway, right?
Yes.
Is the guy in the basement? Yeah. Is that is that worthy of a 6-month giveaway? Like 6-month package? What do you guys think?
Should we have a vote for this one? We got 5 minutes left from our normal time. So let's see. Let the chat decide. Bobby is definitely on the radar. So
he has to be in contention for sure. And there was another nice comment here that let me pull it up.
If you keep clicking multiple names, someone's gonna get sad, Hoop.
No, this is good. We'll
this is a good one though too. This is a good one too.
No great story for the membership, though I would love to win it. Just appreciate all the
positive. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, this.
No, you can't do that. We already said it's a vote. You're making one guy mad and one guy happy.
Told you.
But I didn't know. I didn't know what you guys were thinking though. He said he got in the fight with the wife. You want to keep the significant. That's one key to all this. Like going into a holiday NFL slate, priority one is keeping the lady happy. Like if you don't keep the lady happy, you've immediately lost it. So I do like the fact, I feel bad he's stuck in the basement all day, kind of, but it's you got to plan for that a little bit better. That's why I'm leaning here. But I guess if we want to,
he knows he's going to ship. He's preparing to ship, and the lady will be happy.
That's when the lady's going to be happy. Title knows. So we got number 1 is basement Bobby wife fight. Number 2 is yak it up with our guy Yak, just all love. And Title, do you got one more that we can vote on? Because the rest of the stuff's done here. We're gonna
let's do those two.
Okay, everybody got to put their numbers in the chat. Basement is number 1.
There you go. He's a member. That makes it easy.
Okay, there it is. Makes it real easy. I thought he said didn't his comment say something? Okay, I guess not. All right, if he's already a member, then that's what. How about this? $100 for Bobby. Membership
there we go.
For Yak.
There we go.
That solves it. $100 for Bobby. Hit us up in the Discord at Hoop. He'll get you set up. When we do our giveaways, we do have Christmas and stuff for us that we're handling over the next couple of days. And then Yak, you got to hit us up, info@shipitnation.com. Screenshot your account, send it over there. We'll get that one set up for you with a special code that you can use to get in and get that free 6 months. Just doing an update over here real quick. Let's see. No, didn't quite get there. We're still 20-something shy. It's just under 30, though, that we got to get. So we're going to hit our goal. I'm very confident in this. We said our goal was to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, but we were hoping to get there by Christmas. The last Mayo Media Network Showdown show of the season will be this upcoming Thursday for an incredible game. It's probably going to be a Flacco secondary revenge game. It's Cleveland at home against the Jets. What a game we get there. But we will have you guys covered. That's likely to be when we do the annual membership giveaway. And if all goes well and we have some fun with it, our guy Chris Neville, also gave away a 6-month membership. So maybe that show, Hoop, will make into a giveaway extravaganza going into the new year, get people set up proper with PGA coming back, the new year 2024 hitting all that stuff where we get the annual and the 6-month giveaway. Any other thoughts from you, Hoop, that you got there? Anything you want to add on these winners? Anything else you need to say?
Yeah, congrats to all the winners, obviously. It was a fun show, and more to come. We recorded that Christmas Day 3-game show, so that will be, or it is available, so you can tune in and watch that. And just, Merry Christmas to everyone out there. Happy holidays if you're celebrating something different. Hope everyone has, a good day celebrating with the family, whatever you do. And we appreciate everyone's support, especially during this holiday season. It really means a lot to us. Our community is flourishing. A lot of people in there very active, and just wanted to wish everyone, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. And again, we appreciate all your support over here at SHIPIT Nation.
Ross, that's likely to be the worst game of the year.
Yep.
Shout out to Mike, just subbed. He said, you guys deserve it. Such quality content. We do say that. I mean, truthfully, we do all the shows for free. We do a majority of stuff. I do stuff on Twitter. We do giveaways, all these other things. If you like our free content, you're going to love what's behind the scenes, and it's not expensive to get in on the action and join the nation. That's why we always say it and talk about it. That's why I said Juice secondary. By the way, shout out to Juice. Yak, you're the winner. We talked about it, but this is Juice's membership that he gave away. He gave back that 6 months. Yep. So congrats to you, Yak, and shout out to Juice again for all the awesome stuff, always giving things away. Didn't you say it was Tila?
No, I got the call. I got the call. I love Ingram today, but the call, I'm going to type it in the chat and we can post it. This is the play today that should be low owned and it's going off. put in the chat. You can pull it up.
Yeah, I knew it.
Because he put the dad joke on it, so that's perfect. We got him. Just add in some,
add
his son. That's what you got to do to your player pool.
Add some Addison today. Add in
some, add his son. That's what you got to do to your player pool. Add in some Jordan.
All right, I like that.
You're almost there, but Tambo's the expert. He had to get.
I know. I'm getting close. I'm always one step away from it. Like one little insertion somewhere away from the proper.
Jeff, though, coming through with the hammer on it. Daddy's son. Look at this guy, man. Just killing it. So definitely add in some Addison. We talked about that already. Renegade asked this. I know Renegade's in the chat always wondering about what's going on. We said it. It's posted in the notifications over at SHIPIT Nation. On the Christmas Day, there will still be the ownership projections. There will be the actual player projections. We will have our core reports up. We'll still be in the Discord breaking all things down. So there's lots of coverage. And then Hoop and I recorded the Monday slate video, which will be up on the SHIPIT Nation YouTube station here shortly. This afternoon probably is when it goes up. And we did a full showdown segment at the end with the actual optimizer, breaking it down with captains, all that stuff. That we've got you guys covered. And you know it. I'm always passionate, always excited, feel so truly so blessed just to be able to sit here and do this all the time with you guys. I do wish everybody out there a happy holidays. Title, I'll kick it to you, man. Final thoughts you've got, and then I'll get us out of here.
Yeah, no, echo everything you guys said. Enjoy it. We kind of are joking too. Like, family is very important. You got to make them happy too. Football Beyond, get your lineups in. I'll be with the family as well. But last thing, shout out to all my best ball people out there. 2 weeks left. Huge week in the best ball streets. So if you got some teams live, good luck to you. Let's ship something.
Yeah, and someone mentioned earlier about the new colors in the hoodies. We got a lot of orders for these hoodies. We actually sold out of our first batch, which we thought was a modest number. And if we sell them, we sell them. If not, we'll wear them around at whatever. But if you do want to get it on the next batch, you got to get over here to SHIPIT Nation, go under the merch, do the pre-order. It'll still get to you within probably the next 2 to 3 weeks, depending on once we finalize. We'll let you know, but definitely get your orders in now if you want to get it sometime early in the new year. Appreciate everyone again. Thank you guys so much for watching, all of the support. If you want to join, go to shipitnation.com, use the promo code Mayo. That's going to do it for this one. Happy holidays to everybody out there. For Title, for Hoop, for myself, ToeTagginTambo. Let's ship it!